Hello, hi, my name is Francesca. I'm an Italian knitter and this is everything I knit in 2024. We're gonna do this in 3 categories: garments, accessories, and my own designs. Let's go. First up is the Stockholm sweater by PetiteKnit. This is my first garment of 2024, but also my favorite garment of 2024. I feel like I own this for like much longer than just a year. I wore it so much. It's very soft, cozy, not tight at all, like very comfortable. The color that I chose, I feel like it's a neutral-ish. Like it's not just like black, gray, white, but it has a little bit of like a browny taupey color, but it's not like super bright or out there. Like, I guess what I'm saying, it's very easy for me to wear on top of jeans or like for a regular day of working from home or going for a walk, going out for dinner as well, I feel like. So this is Filcolana Arwetta or Arwetta? And Filcolana Tilia, so it's a fingering strand and a mohair strand, so soft. And if you can see, it's a dropped shoulder construction, which I find quite flattering on my body type. I have fairly like broad shoulders compared to the rest of my body, so I feel like this fits me like well. In terms of PetiteKnit sizes, I'm in between extra small and small. My chest measurement is right at the cusp of the 2 sizes. And usually I choose to go with the bigger size just to get a little bit more room. However, after reading all the notes from the Ravelry projects for this pattern, I've noticed that a lot of people mentioned that this specific pattern from PetiteKnit runs a little bit bigger than other ones, and so I went for the extra small, and I think it's perfect. Like, it's still oversized, which was my intent, and I think it's also the intent of the pattern. So if you are thinking about this pattern but in between sizes, I think you can go with the smallest one, and I would 100% recommend this Filcolana combination. Very cozy, very soft. Rating is 10 out of 10. Moving on to my only cardigan of last year. I don't typically knit a lot of cardigans, to be honest, mostly because the purling makes it a slog for me to knit cardigans. I much prefer to just knit in the round, and so I don't knit a lot of cardigans just for that reason, but I love wearing cardigans. And this is lovely. It is the step-by-step cardigan by Florence Miller of Handmade by Florence. It is knitted in the Noro yarn with the very long name, like Garden Silk Sock Solo. I'll put it somewhere here. And I feel like the yarn is really the star of the garment. Like, you can see all the color transitions, and it's not like super bright or like really out there. It's just like very subtle variations, really like toned down shades and colors. It's not like super bright. And also I held the Noro yarn with a mohair to make it more fuzzy, to meet gauge, and just overall to kind of give it a more cozy feel and look. And the step-by-step cardigan has also a step-by-step sweater kind of companion from Florence. And they're both free patterns. And I think the main intent is to make them really accessible to everyone. They're free patterns. They both have YouTube tutorials to go along with them. You are really followed step by step, like the pattern name suggests. However, the step-by-step sweater, I would say it's a fairly like plain looking sweater, for lack of a better word. Like, I don't mean it in a bad way, but just it's a sweater, very simple. However, this step-by-step cardigan, I think it looks simple, but it's so polished. It has lots of like details that make it kind of like a step above the basic knit that you would expect from this pattern. I think it looks super polished. I added buttons, but I guess you could also make it without buttons if you cannot be bothered. This was a test knit, which is always fun to go through for me. And yeah, no issues with the pattern, looks lovely. The only thing I think is that it's touch short for my likings. I think this is according to the instructions in the pattern, kind of makes it this length. I did not have enough yarn to make it longer, and so I just went with this kind of cropped version, or at least cropped for me. It's not short, but it's not like a slouchy, like long cardigan. It also looks good without being buttoned up. I'll show you. Yeah, And I think it looks stunning, again, as I said, in like a longer version that maybe covers your butt as well. So maybe I'll make another one this year. Rating is 8.5 out of 10, mostly because of the length, because for myself, I think I love kind of longer cardigans, but the feel and the look is perfect for me. Third garment is my first and last Ranunculus. I feel like this is so popular of a pattern that doesn't really need any introductions, but it is, as you can see, like a round yoke lacy pattern, which you can knit with long sleeves, short sleeves, kind of like adjust that in that way. And I knit this in a Isager yarn, which is called Bomulin. It has like the majority, I think, of cotton and linen. And it's very stiff. It doesn't have any give when you knit with it, so it's not fun to knit with. For me personally, I guess I cannot speak for everyone, but it's not relaxing and enjoyable. It doesn't glide through your fingers. You're just kind of more fighting with the yarn to knit your garment. But I think the result is stunning, to be honest. Like, if I just look at the finished garment without thinking about the process and the fact that I didn't like the yarn, I would give it 10 out of 10. I still give it 10 out of 10 to the final garment. Anyway, talking about the process, so the yarn I chose didn't really, I think, appeal to me, but also the pattern itself, it wasn't my cup of tea. I knitted first, just following the pattern, and it came out with very, very roomy underarm. The yoke was very, very deep for my body, I guess. And I think it's the intent of the pattern. If you look at the pattern pictures, the official ones, you can see that it's very roomy. It's kind of like a poncho style sweater, if I can call it that. But I guess I didn't like it. So I just frogged and adjusted a little bit so that it could just look more of a regular t-shirt tee. So kind of like this amount of ease below my armpit. But other than that, I've been wearing this so much. The linen cotton content makes it so that it's not particularly heavy for the summer, so I can still wear it in the summer. And I feel like the lacy yoke, it looks pretty. So still 10 out of 10 in terms of finished object, but maybe like 4 out of 10 in terms of the process and the pattern. I will not be making another one of these. First proper summer knit, as in, I guess, no sleeves. I think that what makes it a summer knit for me, I don't know. But anyway, this is the Cindy top by Kolibri by Johanna. This was a test knit as well. This is 2 strands of pure silk by Knitting for Olive. It is a very cropped top. My belly button is here, so I only wear it, I think, with like high-waisted shorts and skirts. But I feel like I have a good amount of them, so I can kind of switch the bottom up and still wear the top. The original pattern actually has a bow in the front. I didn't have a lot of yarn because I bought the yarn long before I signed up for the test knit. So it was just stash yarn for me. And so I didn't have enough for the actual pattern to do the full bow and everything. But anyway, I don't think I like the bow version as much as this plain one. I think for me, for my wardrobe, my style, I guess, just this plain top is better. I like it more than the version with the bow. And it covers my bra completely. Like, as you can, I guess, imagine, it's a fairly like wide strap. So as you would imagine, it covers your bra, or at least my bra. It depends, I guess, what bra type you wear. But with, I guess, a regular bra, this like helps you cover up the straps and everything if you don't want your bra straps to show. And yeah, I love it. I've been wearing it so much. I don't love the color that I picked of this yarn. I think this is called peach, soft peach actually. And I don't know why I bought it. I think because it was the only one in stock wherever I bought this yarn from. But I think in the summer when I'm a little bit more tan and I'm like just going to the beach or going out for like a brunch or lunch or whatever, I like it. I quite like it. So I've wore it a lot over the summer. That's it. Recommended. I would say 8.5 out of 10. In terms of the fit, it would be a 9.5 out of 10. But because of the color, like it's not super exciting to me, I kind of notch it down to like 8.5 out of 10. Now we're halfway through the garments, and this is a custom raglan. I don't know how to call it, but it's a raglan sweater. I didn't follow a specific pattern from the beginning to the end and just like this came out. I did more or less kind of a mashup between the Creabea's Tolsta tee and PetiteKnit's No Frills sweater. So this has the gauge of the Tolsta tee by Creabea, so like 18 stitches per 10 centimeters, but kind of the proportions of the no frills. So in terms of like how you divide the sleeves and the body, like the amount of stitches that are in the sleeves versus the body, or even like the width of the collar, those come from the no frills. So I just tried, I guess, to hack the no frills, which is my favorite raglan sweater pattern. I made multiple versions over the past years. So I kind of just wanted that shape, but I wanted it at like a larger gauge of 18 stitches per 10 centimeters. So I kind of just like, I don't know, combined the two patterns, very chill, no pressure, just tried it on and see if it worked. And I feel I really like the result. It's very airy. This is my favorite summer yarn, which is Sandnes Garn Line, and green is my favorite color. So I really like this one. I did twisted rib for the neckline, cuffs, and the hem, the body hem. And I also did short rows to lower the back a little bit. I don't know if you can really see, but I kept this sweater somewhat cropped for my likings, being it kind of like a summer sweater, like, you know, a linen yarn. And so I just kept it kind of a little bit cropped for my likings. But I want to kind of the back to still cover my back enough to be comfortable. So I just kind of did a little bit of short rows so that this part in the back came slightly lower than the front. I just followed a YouTube tutorial and applied the learnings from the YouTube tutorials to this sweater, and it turned out. Last thing that I plugged into this kind of a project is a little bit of waist decreases so that the body is not completely straight down, but it tapers a little bit towards my hips. I don't know if you can really see. It's just a few decreases. Both sides have a little bit of decreases so that it tapers. I like it. 10 out of 10. Actually, no, it's not true. For the neckline, I had to do a crochet reinforcement because the neckline turned out too wide, and I guess because this yarn is not very elastic, it's linen and cotton, so it doesn't shrink back. Like the ribbing is not as elastic as if you have a ribbing done in wool or mohair, and so the neckline was too wide for me, and so I kind of like cinched it in with a crochet reinforcement all around, and I feel like that takes down half a point. So it would be 10 out of 10 in terms of the fit, the color, the drape of the yarn. However, I don't know. I don't love the crochet reinforcement. So maybe 9.5 out of 10. And here is my second Peacock Tee. This is a pattern by Knit or Lene Home Samso. And it is my second one. I knit another Peacock Tee a couple of years ago in blue colorway, and this, as you can see now, is this kind of purpley fuchsia, purple lilac color hybrid, and it was though a pale kind of beigey gray when I actually knitted up, and then I dyed it over with this kind of more vibrant color. It was a very easy process. The dye process was a very easy one. I just followed the instructions from the box. The yarn is a bamboo yarn, so I think it was my first time knitting with bamboo and wearing, I think, bamboo. It's very, very soft and drapey and kind of buttery in a way. It's not super like lightweight for the summer. Like I would still prefer linen, and like that feels a little bit more airy, but I think this is another good option after that. It is a lacy yoke pattern, kind of round yoke lacy pattern. I really like this one. It's really subtle as far as lace go, I guess, but it's just a little bit of increases. It's very simple to follow. I use stitch markers to divide up each section, and so while you're knitting each repeat, you can kind of check that you are within the stitch markers before moving on to the next repeat and moving on. It actually was for me fairly easy to catch any mistakes within that kind of repeat, instead of finding them, I don't know, like after 10 rounds and like having to go back. So just stitch markers made it easy, but even the pattern itself, it's fairly easy lace pattern as far as lace patterns go. The t-shirt, or I guess tee, fits very well, enough space at the underarm. As I said before, like I already made it, and so the fact that I made it again, I guess tells you that I really like the fit. I modified the pattern just for the twisted rib. I tend to do a lot of twisted ribs because I guess my ribbing is not super neat, and so if I do the twisted version of, I guess, the rib, makes it a little bit more tidy and polished, especially with non-wool yarns that are not as stretchy. So I feel like this twisted rib makes it look better. As I said, dyeing was fairly easy. I like this color much better than the original color. Rating is 9 out of 10 now that I dyed it. Before dyeing it, it was 6 out of 10. This is the only other true summer knit, as in like sleeveless knit, that I've completed in 2024. This is the Tolsta tank by Crea Bea in the square neck version. So the Tolsta tank has different necklines, I think 3 different necklines, and this kind of square neck is one of the 3 options. I modified it so that instead of a ribbing at the kind of bottom hem and the straps, I instead used like a folded hem, so that it's actually stockinette, but it's folded in 2 and it provides kind of the edges of the tank. I quite like it. I think I saw this modification in Rebecca's podcast and I was like, yes, I'll do the same. I think I'm okay with it. I don't love it. Maybe I made the straps too short, so this neckline is too high on my body. I don't know. Do you like it? I think it's okay. I wore it a few times, but I wouldn't say it's one of my favorite knits of 2024. I would still wear it. It's still comfortable. It more or less hides the bra strap that I wear, at least for the bras that I wear. But if you kind of move it around, you might kind of see a little bit of a peak. I don't know if you mind that or not. You can knit the straps a little bit wider if that bothers you. It is a kind of simple tank. Rating is 7 out of 10. And in 2024, I also made a skirt. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, to be honest, but it's kind of like a longer skirt with like fairly high-waisted. It has an elastic band here, and it's like just plain stockinette in the round with a few increases. And this is not an actual pattern. I just made it kind of be inspired by the Hemingway shorts by Lara Booth, which are shorts that have this kind of elasticated waistband and just go straight. And I just kind of made it into a skirt and done some increases here and there. You can see the increases. They are not like hidden or really melting into the fabric. I didn't do a lot of research what would the best type of increase be in this situation, or like where to place the increases, and I just kind of wanted to knit and have a skirt, so that's what I have. Since I knit this, a few skirt patterns have come out. I think next year I'll just follow one of those and make another skirt. Vote is 7.5 out of 10. I really love the color though. Green, as I mentioned, is my favorite color. This last garment that I have to show you is the softest garment I've ever knit, but also I think the softest garment I have ever wore in general, even including store-bought garments. This is Cardiff Cashmere Classic, the super fancy kind of cashmere yarn that you sometimes see on Instagram, where people open that cardboard box and they have the kind of 10 or 12 like squishy balls of yarn. And yeah, so I made one of those sweaters as well. This is the Poppy Tee pattern by PetiteKnit. I just made it into kind of a sweater looking project by lengthening the sleeves and also choosing a size larger than what the pattern would recommend for the t-shirt version. So I just knit a size large instead of, I guess, my extra small or small, so that I could just achieve some more kind of a room in here, and just made it look more like a oversized sweater and not like a fitted t-shirt. And yeah, I just made the sleeves longer and I put some decreases as you would normally do in a sleeve, in a more tapered sleeve. I kept the 1x1 ribbing as described in the Poppy Tee pattern. There's also a little bit of a garter row before the ribbing, which I found was kind of a little bit different than other patterns and other sweaters that I have. And yeah, just so soft, so soft. I made it a good length, not super long, but I think it's a good mid length for me. This is perfect. I usually block the sweater while it's on hold before I actually cast it off. And so I did it this way as well so that I could really adjust the length of the sleeves and the length of the body to a point that it was perfect for me, and then I bind off. Just because I guess I really wanted to love the finished object, because the yarn is quite expensive and lovely too. So I really want to wear the garments after I finished it and really love it. And I think I achieved my purpose. No complaints. A little bit of complaint is the fact that I didn't intend this color to be my chosen garment color. I wanted to order a kind of a brown caramelly color, but I ended up ordering this one instead for a mistake. And so yeah, I do like this soft blue. I don't know if it looks particularly good on me. I still wear it. So I would say 9.5 out of 10. It would be a 10 out of 10 if it was in a different color, I think, but love it. I would, I think, do another Poppy Tee in the sweater version in the same yarn, maybe a different color. So 100% recommend to hack the Poppy Tee and make it into a sweater. It has this European shoulder, I think it's called. So it's very easy also to knit. There are no short rows, very straightforward. No more garments, my friends. That was the full set. We're on to accessories, which I actually only have these two to show you. I've knit another couple of things, but they were gift knit, so I don't have them to show you. But I do have a lovely ribbed hat by Pearl Soho, knitted in nocciole, which is a yarn by Le Wolle, and the color is a Nuvola, and it's very soft and squishy, covers my ear. It's a good size. It has a little bit of room at the top, which I think it's well balanced, I guess. This is my favorite hat pattern, and it's also probably the only hat pattern I truly really knit in the recent, I don't know, last 5 years. I think I tried another stockinette hat, but it came out too slouchy and too big. I really love ribbed hats because even if you don't really nail the circumference, the fact that it's ribbing, it just makes it kind of adjustable and just adjusts to your head, I guess. So totally recommend the lovely ribbed hat pattern. I think the color is not super exciting, so maybe it's not a 10 out of 10. I would say this is a 9 out of 10. I do have a blue version in recycled cashmere, which is a 10 out of 10 though. So, and with this hat, I've been recently wearing my Berlin scarf by Pola Strict. This is a super oversized, not super oversized, but a wide scarf in a blown, very soft yarn with fringes at the bottom. I think I made it slightly shorter than what the pattern suggests, but I kind of tried to adjust it to my height. I'm not super tall, and so I feel like I just made the scarf long enough for me without just going to the floor, which I think it would be a little bit too much. So I guess it goes to my knees when it's folded this way, just in half. And I really like that it's quite chunky looking. It's quite wide compared to other scarves that I have. I think it's truly like a statement piece, right? Like you can even wear it just laying like so without actually wrapping all around. But I don't know, it would look good either way. Most times I wear it like so, like all bundled up, but just for the purposes of this video, I'll just drape it like so. And the yarn that I personally chose is Camrose Snufnug, which is, again, as I mentioned, like a blown yarn, very airy and holey, like it's not very dense, right? It just traps the air. and it just makes you warm. And the scarf is knitted in the round, and then you just wear it like so. But so it is kind of it has 2 layers, I guess, so it's even warmer than what you would imagine. And the fact that you knit in the round means that there are no pearls. The most boring part in terms of the knitting is the fringes, because you have this amount of fringes, which are kind of giant I-cords, but like you do double the fringe. I don't know, it's not super fun to knit, but it's very mindless. So you just kind of, you do it. You're bored throughout the process of the fringes, but you can do it. And after that, you have a lovely scarf. Rating is 9 out of 10. I went for this kind of pink, dark pink mauvey color, because on the shelf I saw the beigey, the white, the grayish, and I'm like, no, I'm better than that. I'm stronger than that. I don't have to fall for the neutral. I'll just go for the slightly non-neutral option and go with this mauvey color. But I don't love it as much as I would, I think, kind of like a beigey staple scarf. So I guess if I had to go back, I would just pick the like pure neutral colors and not the mauvey. I still like it, but I don't know if it's my favorite color. So 10 out of 10 in terms of the look and feel. Yeah, just pick a color that you like. Such a great advice. And last but not least, I guess, I have a good amount of samples of my own designs. In 2024, I published, as in I uploaded to Ravelry, 2 free patterns. One is a shawlette and one is a bandana. So I'll start from the shawlette. I have a good amount of samples. I'll just go quickly through them. I'll start with the green. This is the pattern. It's kind of like elongated triangular mini shawl. You can wear it with a point at the front, which is how I typically wear it, I think. This is a bigger version than what the pattern suggests. I just used up the entire amount of yarn that I had, so it is a bit longer. Maybe this is kind of a regular shawl size more than a shawlette. I have one in pure silk by Knitting for Olive in this pretty sad color. And the last version that I have to show you is kind of like a gradient one. I didn't do anything to switch the color. This was a cake of yarn that had all the colors already. And I guess it's a little bit more fun to look at than just a plain color. I don't do a lot of gradient yarns, but I was really curious about this specific shade because it's like peach, brown, grayish, so they're like fairly neutral-ish. I feel like I still wear my solid colored shawlettes more than this one, but I don't know. This is quite fun to look at. And my other free pattern of 2024 is an Italian bandana. The official sample is this yellow one. I love this color actually. I don't know if it looks good on me, but yellow, I think it's pretty fun. And I designed this bandana pattern for Knit Italy yarn festival, and it was the official pattern of the festival. Lots of people came with their bandanas, either like tied around their neck, in their hair, on a bag. So it was fun to look at all the other people's versions. I have also green, which is the same yarn as my custom Raglan sweater that I showed you earlier. Light blue, gray, this is Drops Lima. This is very cozy without being too bulky, right? Like if you don't want to wear a full-on scarf or a shawl, you can just wear a little bit of warmth around your neck. And the last version that I knit is like a giant one, as in like I just continue the pattern, the bandana pattern, until I ran out of yarn. And this one is actually a little bit of a section with just the mohair held single and a fingering strand and a mohair and fingering kind of alternating. This is all Drops yarn, so it's Drops Flora and the Drops Kid Silk. And I had it in stash and I didn't know what to make with it. And so I felt like just some kind of a extra layer of warmth for my shoulders would always be appreciated. And especially, like, this is not my favorite mohair, like the drops one. And I feel like if I were to use it for a hat or something that it's actually like on your skin, it might get a little bit itchy after a while. And so I feel like a shawl, or I guess in this case, giant bandana, is a good choice because you typically protected by another layer and it doesn't sit really like on your forehead or on your neck. It might touch your neck, and this is like good enough for me. It doesn't bother me, but like at least it's like my body is mostly covered by another garment underneath the shawl. That's it. Thank you for sticking with me to the end of this video, if you made it this far. And I hope you're proud of your 2024 makes. I'm sure you learned something along the way, like I did. And I'm looking forward to see what 2025 will bring us. I'll see you next time. Thank you.